It's less of a group that you go to, it's a friend group, it's a real community, it's a real space where you can experiment and people will help you. All you have to do is ask. Exactly, yeah.
That's great. That's exactly. As babies, we do everything fearlessly, and we don't have this concept of, it hasn't been given to us yet, this concept of, I can't do that, I might fail. So we're just learning and growing at the exponential rate. And then at some point, something kicks in socially that says, I don't want to try that, it's scary. But if we can get back to the childlike mentality, it will just thrive.
Whatever you're doing with music is okay. Whatever path you're going down in jazz, expressing yourself through music, finding your voice, going through that process is okay. But also, whatever you want to do with that music, is if it's in terms of keeping it as a hobby, being a gigging musician on the side, going full-blown music college, conservatoire route, going to a music specialist school, going to study music, jazz, anything at university, that is very okay and very encouraged.
Everyone is amazing in the group, which can be such a daunting thing. Because like when I first came, it was like everyone's amazing and they know how to do this, and I don't in a great way. But it is kind of, you can make mistakes, and it's like they're amazing musicians, and that's great because you can look at them, see what they do, and kind of learn from them. But also, they're not going to be like, you made a mistake, how could you, and stuff like that. They're really nice people.
Because people were once in that position. That's what you've got to remember, is that people did exactly the same as you did. They learned as well. And they only weren't,
everyone's coming from somewhere.
Exactly.
All these mistakes, I always think of it as, you can take the pressure off by thinking they're not failures. You're just creeping towards the success. It's just one step closer towards where you're trying to get to. And in order to get there, you have to make a few errors over here and then continue creeping towards this goal. As long as you're firmly fixed on this goal. And it will improve. It will literally improve the more you do it.
The atmosphere comes from the fact of the sheer joy that we all have at playing music. We're here because we love something. We're here because we love jazz, and that shines through, and that's what creates the atmosphere. Plus that baseline of just absolute respect and conversation and agreement and disagreement if that happens. So I think that's what makes the atmosphere. It's pretty unique. I think it's not.
Everything's going to come easily to everyone. There will always be at least one thing someone will find difficult, which someone else will find good. And I think communication is a massive thing, which NYJO does very well. It's like it's a community where people can like converse with each other and help each other out and go, well, when I was starting out, this is what I found useful to do, this and this, or it's actually, I think it's that and that and stuff like that, and just going over it again and again and again.
Doesn't really exist, as it's mostly for an improvisational class. That's the idea. So sometimes if we have something to work towards, like a performance, we'll try and do the same material each week leading up to the performance. And that would be the only kind of real consistency that would be fixed. And if not, then we'll just try ideas each week. sometimes people say to me, what are we doing next week? And I'll say, I'll send you an email, right? Because that's the case. And during the week, I'll think, what can we do? Oh, we'll do this. Yeah. So there's not really a standard Saturday. The things that are set in place is how we approach the music. So sometimes I'll issue parts. Most of the time I'll suggest that people try things by ear, learn things by ear, listen to each other. Yeah. I'd encourage people to solo. Some people are a bit shy and may not want to solo. Mentioning no names.
Well, I think that so when I first started at NYJO, soloing for me seemed like a very scary thing because it's kind of coming up with ideas on the spot and it's like stuff like that. But I think now at this stage, I'm still a bit shaky, but I'm less shaky because you kind of pushed me out of my comfort zone, but also have said you don't force me to do it.
Yeah.
And it's great because it's kind of an atmosphere where I can make mistakes and that's all right.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, I was really nervous coming into NYJO. I started out in the intermediate group, and then I moved up to Winston's group where I am now. And it's it was at first I knew everyone was so good, and I really wanted them to think that I was decent as well. It's that kind of thing, you want to be respected and liked by your peers. And very quickly I learned that everyone makes mistakes and it's absolutely fine, and that people aren't going to think any less of you if your solo isn't quite going how you wanted it to. And I think Winston's definitely, you give us the opportunity to solo every single time. And if we put our hands up and say, I'd like to take a solo on this, you write it down and you get us to do it. It's a real kind of, it's really pushing us out of what we would normally choose to do because we feel like we can in that environment. Yeah.
I think definitely what you said about because everyone is amazing in the group, which can be such a daunting thing. Because when I first came, it was everyone's amazing and they know how to do this, and I don't. In a great way, but it is kind of, you can make mistakes, and it's there are amazing musicians, and that's great because you can look at them, see what they do, and kind of learn from them. But also, they're not going to be you made a mistake, how could you, and stuff like that. They're really nice people.
Because people were once in that position. That's what you've got to remember, is that people did exactly the same as you did. They learned as well.
Absolutely. Everyone's coming from somewhere.
Yeah,
everyone's coming from the same place, really.
Yeah, I think that's a really important thing to remember if you want to come to NYJO, is that if you're daunted by the standard of other players, is remembering that they were they were you once.
And also you can just ask them.
It's
fine.
I mean, people help each other.
Yeah.
I mean, often people have said, no, it's this note, and sharing the information, which is how it should be, really.
Yeah, definitely.
Because not everything's going to come easily to everyone. There will always be at least one thing someone will find difficult, which someone else will find good. And I think communication is a massive thing, which NYJO does very well. Is it's a community where people can converse with each other and help each other out and go, well, when I was starting out, this is what I found useful to do, this and this, or it's actually, I think it's that and that and stuff like that, and just going over it again and again and again. And now I'm a little bit older as well. Now I've been here over a year and a half now. I can see people who are more my age helping the younger ones, helping people that have just come in a couple of weeks ago and think, this is lovely. This is exactly what we need. It's less of a group that you go to. It's a friend group. It's a real community. It's a real space where you can experiment and people will help you. All you have to do is ask. Exactly. Yeah.
That's great. That's exactly how it should be. And then you feel free to express yourself, and then learning becomes fun. And you want to come and you want to learn. And I can hear all the progress. I can really hear it, and you are more willing now to solo and join in. Easy. Shout at people, tell them off, and threaten them. And everyone's so well behaved, and there's no problem after that, right?
Or bribe them.
Bribery is an excellent.
Bribery's a bit expensive, but shouting works. No, seriously. An atmosphere everyone's respected. I like to give everyone free will to be themselves and behave as they want to. And generally, everyone's quite respectful of each other, all by themselves. And people know each other in these little groups and communities within the little, so everyone knows each other, everyone gets on. Everyone's very welcoming to newcomers. The only thing I pull people up for is chattering while we're trying to pass information on. So that can be a thing that comes up. And the point I make to the person who's talking is, if I'm trying to give you information and everyone's nattering over here, would you rather they were nattering or not? And they will always say, I'd rather everyone was quiet for me. I'd say, there you go. So let's share that. So let's be quiet for each other. And they go, and then I ask them, what do you think of that? Feel free to disagree. And no one ever disagrees because everyone likes to be heard and listened to. So then you've got to share it around and give it to other people. So you get it back. And so that's a very obvious life lesson. We've all heard it. I've heard it, a squillion times, and it's very true. You get back what you give. So you come into a room full of people, you're all there to learn music, you're busy nattering, but you don't want people to natter while you're trying to learn a certain section. So then you realise, actually, that's true.
Yeah.
It's only what's fair, right?
Yeah.
So that's the thing I put out, and everyone feels the same way. But generally people are very respectful anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I think the sessions kind of thrive on the fact that it's an absolute baseline that everyone at NYJO has set down that you are respectful of each other and that you're a decent person, because that's the only way you're going to get anywhere in the music industry. But also the atmosphere comes from the fact of the sheer joy that we all have at playing music. We're here because we love something. We're here because we love jazz, and that shines through, and that's what creates the atmosphere. Plus that baseline of just absolute respect and conversation and agreement and disagreement if that happens. So I think that's what makes the atmosphere. It's pretty unique. I think it's not a tense atmosphere. It's very
I like to have fun, and I like
exactly.
I think that's so true, because I've come in some mornings going, tired, I don't want to do this, or I'm not feeling the best, but then we just play. Like today I was a bit like, I'm so tired from last night and stuff like that, and then we started playing and I was like getting really into this, and it's like I just felt rejuvenated, because it's an atmosphere of everyone's having fun, everyone's doing what they love to do. We all love music and we all love to play, and this kind of atmosphere of where we can explore and new things, and not kind of stick to traditional things.
It's not this kind of really kind of rigid, intense kind of training. It doesn't feel like training, even though we are quite obviously learning, and that's, I think that definitely helps. I mean, what you said about this feeling I don't know if I can do this today. Like on a personal note, I really struggle with performance anxiety, and so playing with other people, playing for other people is something I really struggle with. And as soon as I'll be outside thinking, okay, deep breath, and as soon as I get in and I start playing with everyone or start singing, it's that immediately just goes, because you can just feel the joy in the room, and you can just see everyone get really into it.
Absolutely.
Into what you're playing.
I think because I've on a similar thing, kind of performance anxiety and stuff like that, and I always, sometimes when I perform, it's kind of what other people will think of my playing. But everyone is so welcoming and so nice that it is kind of like, you think you've made a mistake, but probably many people haven't noticed, and even if they have, they're not going to be nitpicking about it or disregard you in it anyway, because he made this one slip up, or this didn't sound as well as it did, but we know you can do it better at another point.
I mean, these are common themes. Anxiety, performance anxiety, wanting to feel that you're making a good impression on the rest of the group, that you don't slip up while you're soloing. But everyone's learning at the same time. Quite often everyone's learning the same tune at the same time from scratch. And like you say, everyone's going to make a mistake. Everyone's going to make a mistake at some point. And there's going to be lots of stopping and starting and redressing. But the point is that all these mistakes I always think of it as, you can take the pressure off by thinking they're not failures. You're just creeping towards the success.
Yeah.
It's just one step closer towards where you're trying to get to.
Yeah.
And in order to get there, you have to make a few errors over here and then continue creeping towards this goal. As long as you're firmly fixed on this goal. And it will improve. It will literally improve the more you do it.
And it's finding the kind of patterns and stuff like that and stuff that helps you. So when I first started soloing, I was like seeing all these chords and stuff and it was too much, stuff like that. And then I think you said something about using the melody.
Yeah.
And that every single time I find it helps me kind of focus what I'm doing, gives me something to focus on and work around. And then also someone else who was previously at NYJO was like, it's a lot, but I don't think about the chords, I just think about the scale and just working around that and like just use your ear, you can tell when it's wrong.
Yeah.
It's just, people give great advice to make everything just seem less daunting. And it's just, it's a really lovely atmosphere to play music in.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it's got this real attitude of like, it's not a failure. It's like everything you get wrong is one more thing you'll get right next time.
Yeah.
Wrong
Wrong gives you information
Wrong gives you
about
information,
what not
exactly.
to do. And
Exactly.
you'll leave that out next time.
Exactly.
So now you're closer to getting it right. Because
Exactly.
you're leaving out some of the wrong things.
And it's the way that it's addressed as well, is that it's not like called out. It's not like you there, you've made a mistake, stand up and play it again. It'll be one of the bandmates going, it's that chord, just make sure you get that next time, or you just go, just check that note for me, just check that note and make sure that you've got it. It doesn't feel like we're being ridiculed. And I think a few of us have been in music environments where if we do make a mistake, you feel ridiculed.
I feel like, so NYJO was definitely because at my school is a great atmosphere, but it is kind of like there is
the schools.
My school is filled with talented musicians.
Yeah.
And and so when I came to NYJO, I was like, oh, it's going to be a similar atmosphere. I'm going to feel very like intimidated and kind of like, am I not as good? It's like, because all these people can do this. But people go at their own rates.
Yeah.
And I talked to someone who had done NYJO before actually, and because I said to her, I was like, oh, I'm doing NYJO, and she's like, you're going to enjoy it so much. And we had a discussion. She, being a very talented musician, she has her own problems. Yeah. And she's been in the exact same place as me. But I think when you come to NYJO, it's very highlighted and emphasised that like everyone is going at their own rate. You don't have, just because you're a similar age doesn't mean you have to be at this specific level and stuff like that.
Yeah, you've got time. That's the whole thing. Everyone's going on their own journeys. Everyone's doing something different, but you've got time.
Yeah.
That's really important. Yeah.
That's still true. And if you need to pull yourself up in a certain area, you can do that in your own time and come back. But yeah, I mean, everyone respects each other, and everyone respects what you just said, which is that everyone moves at their own pace, progresses at their own rate. You know, the whole group realizes that, and it's a mixed ability group, and it's clearly a mixed ability group. You know,
and that's a good thing.
Yeah,
that's a very good thing. Yeah,
because then otherwise, how can you not?
How are you going to improve?
How are you going to improve, and also how can you not look at other people and go, well, and kind of take advice and see what they do.
It's good for both. I mean, the people who are struggling can be helped and inspired to get better, seeing other people who are better than them. Yeah. Better, all these terms. I don't actually subscribe to it completely. But people who are more
experienced,
further down the line.
Yeah.
Sometimes they start younger, sometimes they're more nerdy and they shed material for like 4 hours, 5 hours a day. That makes the difference. So yeah, people who are struggling can see other people who are where they want to be and they become inspired. And the people who are doing quite well and can see that they're one of the more advanced players in the group can actually experience some humility and can give something back, can help others, right? And they will be encouraged to do that.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
And it will become apparent, I should help others. And if it isn't, we'll point it out. Because that's what it's about, it's a community. think it's important to let people understand and really understand deep inside that there's no real pressure. That everyone can relax, take their time, learn at their own pace, enjoy themselves, have fun, a bit of socializing, have fun with the music, and make honest decisions about how you feel about music and how you feel about your voice, whether it's an actual voice, physical voice, or a voice through the instrument. And allow yourself to grow. Allow your sound to come out, your individual sound. And that takes listening to a lot of your heroes, who are your influences, condensing all of this, and then playing freely with an open mind, with an honest feeling about who you are, without trying to clone anyone. And allow that to come out. And always enjoy it. That's what I would say.
I think it's definitely, exploring.
Yeah.
Like you and your music and the tone, what you want to give. But it's also looking at yourself and going, well, I may be struggling with this, but I'm still good at this. Not always focusing on the negatives of things that you can't do, because they can be improved on. And also, no one wants to be perfect.
No.
Being perfect is boring.
It's so not.
But it's you're going at your own growth rate. You don't want to kind of look at other people. You can be inspired by other people, but you don't want to basically like clone them. It's about exploring yourself through music, because I love music and it's one of the biggest things in my life that brings me joy. And just seeing how I can express myself in music is, I think, something that NYJO has helped me do more, because I've been doing it since I was playing music, but it gives me just another output to go, look, well, I can do this and this and this and this and this. Yeah, I think,
yeah, and one of the biggest kind of things that, you know, the grown-ups of NYJO, the leaders of NYJO kind of...
The old folk.
Yeah.
Just say it.
But you guys have kind of shown to us is that, you know, as well as whatever you're doing with music is okay, whatever path you're going down in jazz, expressing yourself through music, finding your voice, going through that process is okay. But also whatever you want to do with that music, is if it's in terms of keeping it as a hobby, you know, being a gigging musician on the side, going full-blown music college, conservatoire route, going to a music specialist school, going to study music, jazz, anything at university, that is very okay and very encouraged. And, you know, letting us know that whatever route we go down, wherever we go next with this, you are here to champion us and support us, and whatever you do with music is fantastic. The fact that you're even doing it in the first place is fantastic. So if you can take that further, then brilliant, go for it. That's a really important, I think that's a really important ethos of NYJO, is that we've got people from all over going their own routes, going their own paths, and that the adults of NYJO again have said, yeah, that's great, keep on doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
I still think,
part of it.
and even though it is kind of exploring your own pathway, I think it's good that kind of standard etiquette that's reinforced at this level, like chatting during rehearsals or like fiddling around while someone else is learning the part, is quite good, because in any music environment, or just in any environment, even if you don't go into music, those are just baseline respectful things to learn. And I think while it is good to explore, it is good to also reinforce the standard etiquette and go, like, you're not just young people playing instruments. If you want to go on, and even if you're a young person playing an instrument, you've got to actually be respectful, which is something NYJO does very well.
Yeah, being respectful, championing those around you, and yeah, I mean, it's very hard to put into words. I agree.
Like sometimes I encourage the the rhythm section to applaud the horns and vice versa.
Yeah.
So they can recognise, and sometimes everyone just applauds the vocalists.
Oh,
So
yeah.
we can recognise that people are, like maybe the band are doing a tune that we did for 2 or 3 weeks, and then the vocalists are coming in and learning it fresh, and they're doing a great job. So it's giving, you know,
Yeah.
just to take the pressure off, because again, you know, with the singers as well, they have a tendency to not want to scat, and they have a strange thing of as the mic get closer, they sing quieter.
Yeah.
So just try to encourage them to come out of their shell a little bit, and they have been gaining more confidence.
Yeah.
And both of you have been singing as well, which is great.
Yeah.
So I try to encourage everyone to sing, and
It's good that we're not limited just by our instruments. Like
that's really
the gig we did at the JMI, with the JMI, before we even came on, you were like, I think we were doing There Will Never Be Another
we were
You
singing that
around
live.
the pizza,
Right.
and I did a scat and you were like, do you want to do this in the gig? And I was like, sure. And so
Yeah.
and it just happened. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, on that, yeah, on the thing as well, and the whole idea of going down your own path and not being limited by instruments. I sang properly, kind of as a vocalist for the first time in one of your sessions today.
Yeah.
That was a big moment for me,
Yeah.
but also it opened up a whole new avenue of what I could be doing here.
Yeah.
And it's important that everyone at NYJO has that same opportunity to be a multi-instrumentalist, to do multiple things at NYJO
Absolutely.
if they want to, and they absolutely can.
Or
Absolutely.
just to have fun with whatever they're in the mood for. Like
Yeah.
sometimes people will be like, oh, I don't really want to play my instruments at the moment, I just want to do some singing.
Yeah.
And having that opportunity to just not be limited by your instrument and to express yourself in different varieties is really helpful.
Two things. First of all, I try to get everyone to sing. Sometimes we'll start a new tune, and I like to call it from the ground up. So I start with the rhythm, and it might be so we might go just to get the rhythm, and then we'll get the notes without the rhythm, and then we'll do it together,
Yeah.
and then we'll sing the tune whilst keeping the parts. So we hear everything in relation and in context. One is that it helps people to internalize everything. It makes it about the body, the mind, the feelings, the emotions, how you actually feel right there and then, and about moving something, moving your hands, moving your feet. Sometimes we stand up and we do a kind of sidestep. And it gets the whole body involved and the thinking process, rather than it being, I'm static, and I'm holding an instrument, or I'm sitting in front of an instrument, and I'm going to do this. It doesn't engage you as much. So you get the whole body involved. The second thing is, it really does internalize information. If you can get it inside you, you can carry that around with you.
Yeah.
Singing can work functionally, but also it takes people out of their comfort zone. The other part of your question. It means that, because quite often the thing that people are not comfortable with isn't necessarily what they're not good at. Sometimes it's unfamiliar. So because it's unfamiliar, people feel less comfortable. So we try to get them out of their comfort zone. Do it anyway. Try it. Give it a go. Yeah. And I try to ban the phrase "I can't."
Yeah.
And I say, because quite often they prove that they can within the next 2 minutes by doing the thing they said they couldn't do. So then we go back and we say, right, so the phrase you just said "I can't," what's that now? Is that a reality?
Yeah.
No, it's not the truth. Great. So now we know that we can try and we can see if we can do it. Then we'll know whether we can or not. Okay? But I can't limits everyone. It means we stop here. I'm not going to. So I try to avoid that. Try to discourage that. By encouraging people to come out of their comfort zone. And I know it's difficult. I know it's daunting. Everyone feels the same way about their comfort zone. Just take me there, leave me there.
It's comfortable. I like it.
It's great. That's where I want to be.
Yeah.
But what I've found, and I guess everyone finds out, I've certainly found this out, thousands and thousands of times in life, is that when you come out your comfort zone, that's when all the learning and the growth and the discovery happens. Self-discovery, discovery about other people, discovery about things, events, life, how you feel about life, how you respond and react to life. That's when you really discover what everything's about.
I think definitely exploring outside your comfort zone is such an important thing that NYJO does, but they do it in a way that's not kind of daunting and like feels like there is some pressure to it. Because if you don't kind of explore outside your comfort zone or explore new methods of learning things, then you can't really progress any further. Like you can play the same thing over and over again and like know your instrument very well, but if you by using other methods such as like vocalizing the stuff you're doing, or first doing the rhythm and then stuff like that, all these different methods, they will, for some person, that they'll go, this is how I learn really well. Or you'll just find a new pathway and go, well, like I learn by ear very well, and vocalizing the melody really helps me internalize that. And so I think the exploration of different ways to learn ideas and kind of exploring music is such a key thing that NYJO does, that it's really useful.
Yeah, no, it's a bit of a life lesson of finding other ways to learn things, and it's a really good thing. It's another great bit of knowledge that we've learned, of the kind of find new ways to learn things, then you can really know what you're playing, and you'll be able to really internalize those chords so you can solo over them.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
And it's good to develop these habits now.
Yes.
Because what can happen is it can carry through right to your professional career. I've worked with people who will be rehearsing and I'll say, oh, this rhythm goes like this. Can it, actually goes like that. And I remember someone saying to me once, I don't want to. Which actually meant, this is a slightly difficult for me, but I'm not used to trying or stepping out of my comfort zone, so I'm not going to. And they just refused, and that was it.
Wow.
So they decided to do it wrong, and that's how we did it.
I think
so it's worth developing these habits now.
I think that's the thing that vocalizing and pushing out outside your comfort zone does, is that it allows you to make mistakes.
Yes.
And not being criticized for these mistakes just shows that, like, okay, if I don't get this, I can ask and go, could you repeat that again? Or can we do this one more time? Yeah. Rather than go, I can't make a mistake, everyone think I'll be playing badly or I'm not as talented as them. By creating this atmosphere where you can just, and in a way that not everyone's comfortable with, or not many people are comfortable with, you can see, well, people are struggling with this too, it's not just me.
Yeah, and the good thing about vocalizing it, about stamping out the rhythms, is that it takes you away from your instrument for a second, and it's quite nice to have that space between you and your instrument, so that you're not attached at the hip. As lovely as I love the piano, but at the same time it creates that really healthy boundary of learning things away from your instrument and being away from it in rehearsal and not hiding behind it in a way.
I agree. I mean, my philosophy is basically that as babies we do everything fearlessly, and we don't have this concept of, it hasn't been given to us yet, this concept of, I can't do that, I might fail. So we're just learning and growing at the exponential rate, and then at some point something kicks in socially that says, I don't want to try that, it's scary. But if we can get back to the childlike mentality, it will just thrive.
It really brings in that curiosity.
And
fearlessness.
New styles will emerge and new expressions that's not very homogenized thing, which I think NYJO does very well. Is it's not a very homogenized image of music. It's so varied, so different. It's lovely. We'll be doing so many different styles of jazz and such. I think my favourite one was when we did Bebe. I love that. And Mr. Ada. You find certain styles which you may not have gone I really like this. And it's because I've seen other kind of music institutions and stuff like that have such a homogenized image.
There's one way of doing it.
This is one way of doing it. If you can't do it this way,
get out.
The way.
Yeah.